Bangla City SATV News. This is Shabala Alam with our headlines. Bangladeshi sailor killed in Ukraine. Family urges to bring body back. Other sailors seek government help to save their lives. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina urged researchers ensure practical use of research and knowledge for the well-being of the country. UN Secretary General praises Bangladeshi peacekeeping mission, hopes continuation of providing more troops. A sailor, Hadithur Rahman, has been killed in a rocket attack on a Bangladeshi ship stranded at the port of Alvia on the Black Sea coast of Ukraine. He was working as the third engineer on the ship. The other 28 sailors on the ship seek government help to save their lives. Bangladesh Shipping Corporation said that efforts are being made to bring them back to their country, while the relatives of Hadithur Rahman urges to bring back the dead body in Bangladesh. The sailors in the stranded ship are still fighting for their lives as the temperature dropped to nearly 0 degrees. The ship authorities have permitted the sailors to evacuate the ship and find shelters in safe places. Meanwhile, Bangladesh takes a neutral stance at UN on a UN General Assembly resolution on Ukraine crisis. The resolution, supported by 141 of the Assembly's 193 members, passed yesterday a rare emergency session called by the UN Secretary Council. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina today urged the researchers to ensure that the practical use of the research knowledge is for the well-being of the country's people. The Premier said that the practical application of our invented knowledge should be for the welfare of the people. So she also wanted to see what would be the impact of the research we are doing now. Sheikh Hasina said this while conferring Bangabandhu Sheikh Science and Technology Fellowship. She also said the fourth industrial revolution is now knocking at the doors. Fellowship and research donations are provided from the government's revenue fund. So those who are getting the fellowship will have to work hard for the national development with utmost responsibility. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has highly praised the role of Bangladeshi peacekeepers in the UN missions and hoped that the country would continue to provide more troops to fulfill UN's future needs in this regard. Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen met Guterres at the UN headquarters recently, requested the SG to appoint more Bangladeshi nationals at the high-level positions of the UN peace operations across the world. Meanwhile, the Secretary General highly appreciated Bangladesh's generosity for sheltering 1.1 million Rohingyas and reiterated UN support for returning the forcibly displaced Rohingyas to their homeland in Myanmar. BNP's protest rally for rising commodity prices is going on in Madaripur as part of the central program. Speakers at the rally sharply criticized the government for ongoing rise in commodity prices. Shama Obaid, the party's organizing secretary, took part in the rally organized by the district BNP on the open stage of the city's Independence Square in the morning. Speakers at the rally warned of the larger movement if prices of daily commodities, including rice, pulses, oil and gas, were not reduced soon. Viewers are taking a short break. Stay with Euro Bangla City SATV News. Welcome back. You're watching Euro Bangla City SATV News. Now international news. Leaders of the Quad group of countries said the United States, Japan, Australia and India will hold a previously unannounced online meeting today, said the Indian and the Australian. Reports said US President Joe Biden, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida will take part in the meeting. The meeting is likely to discuss Russia's invasion of Ukraine and verify coordinations among the four partners. Of the four, only India has not condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russia is the main supplier of the arms to the Indian military. The World Bank on Tuesday announced more than $1 billion in humanitarian aid for Afghanistan. The money will go to the UN agencies and international NGOs while remaining outside the control of the country's Taliban rulers. The relocation from the Afghanistan Reconstruction Trust Fund follows the $280 million in ARTF funds disbursed last December and is aimed at supporting the humanitarian response over the critical winter months. Reports said the funds, to be delivered in the form of grants, aim to support the delivery of essential basic services, protect vulnerable Afghans, help preserve human capital and key economic and social services, and reduce the need for humanitarian assistance in the future. The bank suspended its aid to Kabul late last August after the deadline Islamist Taliban swept back into power. The Congressional Committee investigating the attack on the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday said former President Donald Trump may have engaged in criminal conduct in his bid to overturn his election defeat. In a court filing, the panel said Trump potentially engaged in conspiracy to defraud the United States and may have obstructed an official proceeding. The Select Committee's members have previously said that they will consider passing along evidence of criminal conduct by Trump to the U.S. Justice Department. Such a move, known as the criminal referral, would be largely symbolic but would increase political pressure on Attorney General to charge the former president and would thrust his department into a political firestorm. Hong Kong subway operator, bus and ferry companies and one of its biggest supermarket chains are cutting back services due to a worsening COVID-19 outbreak. The main financial district is eagerly quiet, with few people out in the normally bustling neighborhoods. About 1.7 million people have been infected since Monday, which broke all the previous records. Hong Kong's Transport Department said 98 bus routes would be suspended, with operators facing critical manpower shortages. The city's subway services are also cut short due to shortage of passengers and staff members. About 700 deaths occurred in the past week, with the majority unvaccinated people. Russian forces are attacking Ukraine from 3 directions. Russia on Wednesday stepped up airstrikes in the Ukrainian capital Kiev, northeast of Kharkiv, northeast of Mariupol and northeastern Chernihiv. A total of 498 Russian soldiers were killed and 1,597 wounded in the operation in Ukraine. Dalia reports more.
The smell of gunpowder is in the air of Ukraine. The bombing of major cities did not stop on the 8th day of the Russian invasion. The Russian army is attacking the country from 3 directions. Russia on Wednesday stepped up airstrikes in the Ukrainian capital Kiev, northeast of Kharkiv, northeast of Mariupol and northeastern Chernihiv. The southern port city of Gulshan has been captured. The Pentagon says Russian troops are stationed north of Kiev. The troops are holding up due to a lack of equipment needed for the war, while they decided to move forward with full preparation. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has called on his country's citizens to fight harder. Moscow's plan has been thwarted, he said in a speech to the nation. Russia and Ukraine have met again for local peace talks. The meeting is going on in the presence of representatives of the 2 countries. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry said for the first time that 498 Russian troops has been killed and 1,597 wounded in the operation in Ukraine. The Ukrainian hospitals are at risk of Russian bombing anytime. The most vulnerable are children and pregnant women. Basement or shelter centers have been turned into hospitals. Crowds of ordinary patients as well as war wounded are immense, while the pressure is constantly increasing. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has warned against using nuclear weapons in the event of a third world war. Earlier, Lavrov said that Ukraine was trying to acquire a nuclear weapon for which Russia needed to respond. Amid restrictions against Russia from the different countries, the International Paralympic Committee has banned Russia and Belarusian athletes from competing in the Winter Paralympics in Beijing. Faisal Faruqi, SATV International Desk.
Now sports news. After the ODI series, the first T20 is underway. The Tigers are playing against Afghanistan in the first T20 of the two-match series. The match started at 3 p.m. in Mirpur. After winning the toss, Bangladesh chooses to bat first. After the end of the innings, the Tigers managed to give a target of 155 runs to the Afghans. Though the record is not good in small format, Captain Mahmudullah Riyad is optimistic about the series. Meanwhile, Mushfiqur Rahim has left the field with a head injury while practicing on the day before the match. Munim Sharia is playing his debut match today. On the other hand, Afghanistan is in good mood after winning the last ODI. The visitors are also looking for victory in different formats. English giants Liverpool and Chelsea secured their places in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Liverpool won 2-1 against Norwich City, where the Blues beat Luton Town in 3-2 goals. Liverpool went ahead in the 28th minute at home. Japanese striker Takino Minamino scored a goal. Takune doubled his lead with his second goal after 12 minutes. Norwich City could not avoid the raid even after reducing the gap to 6 minutes. In the fifth round match, Luton Town, the second-tier team, took a great test of Chelsea. Luton's Rich Bork lead the team with a goal in the second minute of the match. Chelsea's Saul Niguez equalized in the 28th minute. Before going to the break, Luton went ahead again with a goal by Harry Connick. Chelsea equalized in the 6th minute with a goal from Timo Werner. Romelu Lukaku gave the team the lead in the 8th minute. Before ending, we go to the Euro-Bangla City SATV News headlines again. Bangladeshi sailor killed in Ukraine. Family urges to bring body back. Other sailors seek government help to save their lives. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina urged researchers ensure practical use of research knowledge for the well-being of the country. UN Secretary General praises Bangladeshi peacekeeping mission, hopes continuation of providing more troops. We are up to date so far here on Euro-Bangla City SATV News, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.